Thanks for joining us for the Long Island Sound Podcast. Each week we explore new music and dive deeper with the artists and their stories behind the music. Please subscribe and rate and review us wherever you stream this podcast. Here's your host, Steve Yusko.
Hey, this is Steve Yusko with the Long Island Sound Podcast with my latest weekly update. And I just wanted to take the time, first of all, to wish everybody happy Ramadan for my Muslim friends, happy Passover, which starts, and Holy Week, which started this past Sunday for the Christians out there. So I want to wish you a great week of celebration with family and friends, and enjoy. So this is just me attempting to figure out live streaming as I go out on Twitter and YouTube and my Facebook page as well. And I just want to tell you about some of the things that have been happening, which have been really great. We've had the opportunity to do a number of showcases at Fire Island Vines in Bayshore, thanks to Angelo Christie, the proprietor of Fire Island Vines, who's really into supporting the local music scene. And we have another one coming up. We just did one this past Sunday with the fantastic Josie Bello. And the way we approach these showcases is Mike Nugent and the Blue Moon Band opens up the set usually around 3:30 in the afternoon, plays a number of great original tunes. And this past week, we had Mike Guido on bass, Kevin on drums, the fantastic Diane Lotney, great vocals, Mike Nugent, of course, and Mark Mancini on keys. We had a full band and we had a lot of fun. And then what we do is during the second set, we have another artist come in and play with the band or by themselves. And with that, we're also looking for other former guests of the Long Island Sound Podcast who want to showcase their tunes to give us a call, and we'll set something up. And I think we've got something going here. What's really nice is it's a great crowd. A lot of musicians show up for the showcase. And it's just a fun atmosphere to kind of relax and enjoy some really great original tunes. So I want to do a shout out, especially to the young artists out there who want to showcase their talent to a friendly audience who's into original music, and people are really attentive to it, and we get really fantastic feedback. I think I figured out how to do the live stream. It's been a bit of a challenge, to be honest with you, to figure out the bandwidth and all the different technical aspects of live streaming, to go out to the masses. But what's interesting is we're highlighting Fire Island Vine, certainly Mike Nugent and the great artist that he's opened doors. He's opened doors for me left and right. Without Mike Nugent, there wouldn't be a Long Island Sound podcast. And we'd like to kind of take the show out on the road as we roll into the summer. So if there are other venues out there that want to highlight something different, in doing the showcase, it's kind of like a radio show at the Grand Ole Opry. I know I'm reaching a bit here, but I'll make comments in between songs. I'll highlight the venue where we are to draw people in and actually draw a spotlight to the venue. So for those venue operators out there that are looking for a different type of entertainment, a different type of engagement, give me a call. Send me an email, steve@gigdestiny.com. We have a website also, gigdestiny.com, where you can see all the podcasts and live events, and things are really starting to take off. So anyway, so that's the showcases that we're doing. We have, I believe, Rory Kelly coming up and some other artists to be named May 7th and I believe May 26th. But check the Gig Destiny site for the live events that go out there. I also want to talk about a recent guest that I have that's going to be up tomorrow on Thursday, which is Nancy Atlas. Nancy is really a firecracker and a talented artist, probably one of the hardest working artists in the music scene. And she's from Montauk. She's played with so many fantastic celebrity musicians, from Elvis Costello to the late Taylor Hawkins from Foo Fighters, to opening up for Jimmy Buffett and playing on stage with him at Jones Beach. She was the staple band at Stephen Talkhouse. She's playing on April 22nd. So we encourage everybody. I'm going to go out there, do my best to go out to Amagansett and see Nancy and the crew at Stephen Talkhouse. Seeing her live, from what I've heard, is really something to put on the bucket list. So a Spotify exclusive, Nancy Atlas will be up on the airwaves on the Long Island Sound tomorrow. So take a look at that. And what's interesting, well, a lot of things are changing in podcasting these days. To me, it seems as though that there is a struggle to have creative people put content up. And Spotify has given us the opportunity, since I feature the artist's songs, 2, 3, or 4 songs during the interview, I can now link directly to the artist's stream so that they get the credit for the downloads of their music. So Nancy Atlas is going up tomorrow. It's a Spotify exclusive. And then we'll follow up, hopefully, with a video podcast on Spotify and on our YouTube channel. If you go to my link tree, you'll see all the links. It's right down in the description somewhere over here, I guess, that you can find all the things to connect to the Long Island Sound. If, by the way, you want to partner with the Long Island Sound, help us keep the conversation going, feel free to buy me a beer, so to speak, and hit that donate button. Anyway, it's not about the money. It's about the journey. It's about the music. So Nancy Atlas is going up on our airwaves tomorrow. So I'd love for the audience out there to call our listener line about any of the episodes that you listen to. It's in the description as well. It's 631-800-3579. You can leave a recorded message for the artist. Tell us what you think about the podcast. Give us suggestions. We're open to your feedback, and I send that off to the artist, and they get a kick out of hearing from new fans out there, and that seems to be going pretty well. Hey, I had a great conversation with Bill Herman of Paradiddle Studios. It's a recording studio in Huntington, well-known, it's been around for like 16 years or more. And Bill has worked with many of the famous artists on Long Island. So it was a real blessing for me to have the opportunity to talk to Bill. And he's done over the years a number of cover CDs, Bob Dylan Uncovered, volumes 1, 2, and 3. And his most recent one, which is coming out in May, is on Hank Williams. And this is a 2 CD set. And let me tell you, what was great about this, I really didn't realize how many Hank Williams tunes I knew that were covered by a lot of other artists. But what's great is Bill has over 65 artists from Long Island doing their interpretation of various Hank Williams tunes on this 2 CD set. So that's coming out in May. And we'll have our episode on the Long Island Sound with Bill Herman come out the day that the CD becomes available. I believe you can pre-order it now. Peter Mancini is on there. Peter is one of our great guests that we've had, an up-and-coming guy, fantastic music, and he does the opening song on the CD. He was also a guest at our showcase at Fire Island Vines, and what a pleasure that was. And what was really neat is Peter's first album was cut with Mike Nugent, so it was kind of a reunion. So we have different themes as we move along with the Long Island, what we're calling the Long Island Sound showcase. So keep your eyes peeled for that as we roll into late spring and the summer. You'll see us pop up, I'm sure, around different venues here on Long Island, including Fire Island Vines. I had another great pleasure, and it was kind of in the works for a number of months, is we kind of turned the tables a bit with my daughter Faith interviewing me as the host of the Long Island Sound podcast. And I just love talking to my daughter. I can tell you so much about my daughter, and check out that interview. I believe I put it up as a video podcast as well, or snippets of it. You'll find that on Spotify and Apple Podcasts and all the other platforms that are out there. One of the interesting takeaways I had from that interview of Faith was, talking to younger people and discovering the music that they listen to, which is really something I encourage the parents to do out there. Hey, I'm a 61-year-old guy out there. I really, grew up in the 70s with Neil Young and Laurel Canyon and, Van Morrison, Jackson Brown. As I got older, I found, hey, you know what? I don't want to get stale with the music that I listen to. I tuned into WUSB, the Stony Brook station, which is fantastic, has a lot of great DJs focused on original music as well. And WFUV, the Fordham station, is a favorite of mine because for me, I don't know, it just exposes me to new music that I probably wouldn't ever found or discovered. And I think that was part of the foundation of starting this podcast over a year ago, is that need to discover new things. And let me tell you, the wellspring of talent here on Long Island is absolutely amazing. You pick the genre and you'll find a great artist here on Long Island, whether it's folkies, blues guitarists. There's the Long Island Blues Society, has a lot of great people. We've had a lot of great blues artists, starting out with Mike Nugent, my very first interview, Kerry Carney, Pamela Betty was fantastic. You'll see her on that. And then we rolled into some bluegrass, Damn Tall Buildings out of Brooklyn, fantastic trio. Brooklyn, which is probably the center of music here in the New York area. I've got to get to the venues in Brooklyn and discover new music there, because I certainly have a number of fans from New York City and Brooklyn. So on that note, I'm looking for scouts out there, people who can point me to the new and up-and-coming music and artists here on Long Island that they go see out in the clubs and out in the venues. I want you to bring them to my attention here on the Long Island Sound so I can turn around and give them a platform on this podcast to expose their music to a new audience and help us get that music discovery going there. I tell you, the one thing I learned, the music business has really changed. It's tough for artists to one, make a living at it. And, they have to have a social media aspect to it to, be that lure, that shiny coin that gets the attention out there of their music. And to that point, one of the guys that I always talk about are the Como brothers. The Como brothers are, I believe, from the East End, like Eastatocket or something like that. Met them at Fire Island Vines, two great guys. Great harmonies. They seem to pound out music, new music, like 2 songs a month. And then they're very crafty in putting out videos with lyrics on as reels up on YouTube and Instagram. That's helped grab their attention. By meeting the Como brothers, I was fortunate enough to meet Sam Wolf, who was an American Idol contestant when he was 17. He does collaborations with the Comos, and you'll see some videos out there. And then I did interviews with the Comos separately and Sam Wolf. And then we did a 3-way with all the guys on one podcast. We did a video podcast. So we're venturing into that, working our way through that. So you'll see the video podcasts on Spotify, as well as the Long Island Sound YouTube channel. So I would encourage you, so we can get a broader audience, please look up the Long Island Sound on YouTube and subscribe to the channel. It doesn't cost you anything. It helps us get into the searches as far as popularity to really kind of help these artists along. And to that end, I'll say, hey, we got to support our local artists out there, our musicians, go out to the clubs. If you don't see a tip cup, grab a empty pint glass from the bartender, and put a tip cup out in front of the local artists so that they can help support. Another cool thing, which I learned from the younger people, is that a lot of young people don't carry that much cash around, but they do have Venmo and PayPal. So you'll see tip cups out there that have a Venmo QR code or a PayPal code on it, that the funds can go directly to the artists. A lot of them are bringing merch, T-shirts, and Huggies and tumblers and all these different things to help make a living and support their art. So, hey, we're big here at the Long Island Sound, big proponents of the artists. And I tell you, it was no surprise to me, but it really amazes me how generous the music community here is on Long Island with each other, supporting each other. Certainly during the showcases that we've done, a lot of musicians and artists have shown up to support their fellow artists on a Sunday afternoon. And that really just added to the atmosphere. And many have played in, and we've talked about, doing other showcases. What comes to mind is Ed Travis, great gregarious guy, well known around Long Island, does a lot of Jimmy Buffett stuff. And we did a Parrot Heads versus Deadheads segment in the second half of our showcase. And everyone got a good kick out of it. There was a good vibe to it. So I spoke about Spotify. I definitely want to find some scouts out there to find me some young artists who want to come on the program. We do it all virtually, usually Monday or Tuesday night. I will record the shows and put it together in post. And where would I be? I have to put a shout out to Five Towns College. Five Towns College sent me an intern to help me put the shows together. So I want to do a shout out to Terry Halleck, a great young man. He's graduating this year from Five Towns College. He's studying to be a studio engineer, I guess. And he's been a real help, and he's given me some insight. And thanks, Terry. I enjoy our conversations during my commute home from my day job at work. It's great to get your perspective on things. And with that, if there are any interns out there want to know a bit about podcasting, look me up. I'm happy to get you involved here on the team. I dabble in social media, but it takes a lot of work, and certainly could use an intern who has the panache or the skills for social media. We have a TikTok and an Instagram, but that's something that's almost a full-time job to be the shiny coin to attract people to the Long Island Sound podcast. So go to Gig Destiny. You'll see the link tree links down in the description of how you can connect with the Long Island Sound. So who else do I have coming up? Oh, another great guy that I interviewed, and I have to work on his episode, is Mike Messer. Mike is just a really interesting guy with a phenomenal background. I would say a true artist. And I was able to interview Mike from his Harlem studio. And I tell you what always amazes me in these interviews is, you read the bio, I listen to the music, do my homework with my guests. And man, some of these stories come out of left field. They're so enjoyable. And the one thing or one of the takeaways I get is the people who seem to be very successful and enjoying what they do take every opportunity that comes their way. They don't say no to anything. They just want to play their music. And it's amazing how the joy of playing music, playing it live, and getting out there and honing their skills. And that's one of the things that drive my curiosity. I have guitars on there, and as I look at them now in the reflection, I feel this tremendous guilt of not woodshedding my craft as much as I should. I did learn the guitar late in life. I enjoy it very much. And I am amazed at the work that goes into honing your craft. There's many thousands of hours behind each artist that's out there. But on top of that, it's always interesting, and I've said this in other podcasts, is, hey, I've got snippets in my phone of 1,000 songs that I've not put together. Yet, what separates regular guys like myself who have those 1,000 snippets from the artists who act on the muse and woodshed the song and edit and we work in collaboration many times to whittle it down or build it up, so to speak, to develop a song that will, live on for the rest of their life. I mean, I'm just thinking about Hank Williams. What Bill Herman's CD, which is coming out, I'll show this again. It's Hank Williams Uncovered. Can we see that there? Yep. It really made Hank Williams come alive for me. And what a great opportunity to hear it separately in the way Hank Williams did it in his day, and how great artists from Long Island are able to interpret it. And the other thing that really caught me was the fact that, and I asked Bill, how long did it take you, to put this Hank Williams CD together? He said about 14 months, which was unbelievable to me. And he has over 65 artists that were happy to contribute on it. So I spoke about Pete Mancini. Another guest of mine, Mary Lamont, sings on that, the queen of Long Island country music. And you got to check out Mary's episode. Mary's also a DJ on WUSB every other Sunday. She does a thing on country music. And the opposite Sundays is another guest of mine, the fabulous Gene Casey of Gene Casey and the Lone Sharks, who's also exploring his DJ roots on WUSB. So you have Gene Casey, you have Pete Mancini, you have Mary Lamont. I mean, I can't do it justice. You have to listen to Bill Herman's episode when it comes out in May, because he really gives credit to everyone who contributed to the CD. And I tell you, if you have a CD player, which not many people do anymore, I happen to have one in my old car. And I listen to it on my commute into work and back from work. And it just brings me, as I say, the music takes you on a journey, right? And when you're commuting in Long Island traffic, you don't want to just be mentally in traffic. Obviously, you have to pay attention, but the music can make that commute a lot shorter and a lot easier to bear. So that'll be out on Spotify and the different platforms in May. So look for Hank Williams Uncovered. I did mention that Nancy Atlas will be performing at Stephen Talkhouse on Saturday, April 22nd. I'm going to be there. If you happen to see this live stream, please come say hello to me. Let's have a conversation. I always love talking to people, not while the music's playing, but during the breaks, about their experiences with live music and the artists that they know. And all the guests that have come on the Long Island Sound podcast have come really from referrals. And I count my blessings with that. Every guest I seem to interview has 3, 4, or 5 people that they recommend, say, hey, you got to check them out on the podcast. I have a few people that I've reached out to that I would love to get you. I know you guys are out there busy, working in the industry and working on new music, but I'd love you to take a break and come to the Long Island Sound and just spend an hour with me and let people get to know a little bit about the artist behind the music. That's what has always driven my curiosity. Well, hey, you know what? I've really kind of gone on here. It's really strange, to be honest with you, to be talking in a room by yourself to a camera. I hope I pulled it off. Please search for the Long Island Sound. You'll find it Google. You'll find it Apple Podcasts, Spotify, that sort of thing. Please rate and comment on the show. That helps us reach a larger audience. And hey, you see me out there, just come say hello. So as I say, keep your spirits high, be generous with your joy, and let the music take you on a journey. Okay, be well, everybody. Till next time, take care. Thank you for joining us today. I appreciate the time you spent with us. Please subscribe and comment and visit us at gigdestiny.com. Till next time, be generous with your joy, keep your spirits high, and let the music take you on a journey. Be well. Peace.